This is Steve with Rocky Mountain ATV EMC, and today I'm going to show you how to install these Tusk Barrier Doors on this Polaris RZR Turbo S. Having full doors on your UTV make a world of difference. They keep the mud and the dust out, and they keep everything inside your UTV that you need to keep inside your UTV. So today I'm going to show you how to install these Tusk Barrier Doors on this 2018 RZR Turbo S. This also applies to the RZR XP 1000 two-seater, years ranging from 14 to 18, and the RZR XP Turbo EPS, years ranging from 16 to 18. To do this job, you're going to need some basic hand tools, safety glasses, and obviously your Tusk Barrier Door kit. The kit will come with two of everything you see here to be installed on the passenger and driver side. Now for this video, we've gone ahead and installed it on the driver's side. So we're just going to be showing you how to install it on the passenger side, but the steps are still the same for both doors. To start, we need to remove the stock door. Take your T40 Torx and remove the 4 hinge bolts, but save those bolts because we're going to reuse them later. Next, let's pull out the passenger seat so we can get to the door post. Now that we have access to our door post, we need to remove this plastic piece using a T25 Torx. And now we need to remove the door hinge pins using a flat blade screwdriver to remove the circlip on the bottom. Now make sure to get the hinge bushings. We're going to use these later with the hinge as well. Now grab your 13mm socket and remove the bottom post bolt. Now grab your 15mm wrench and socket and remove the upper bolts. But save these bolts, we're going to use them later. And now remove the post. Okay, now we're ready to start installing. Grab the door post. I want to point out that the outer skin is going to be loose, and this is that way so that you can install the door hinge pins later. Next, let's grab our rubber seal and we'll hold it up to our door skin. We need to cut this to fit, so go ahead and hold that up there and use some dikes or metal cutters, anything you have laying around to do that, and go ahead and trim that. Now we need to pinch this closed so that it'll fit around the door skin, but don't install it yet as we will install it later. Now let's take our upper door post and we're going to go ahead and install that using our supplied Allen bolt and nut, and then we're going to reuse the upper bolts from the stock door. Now let's go ahead and tighten those down. Just make sure to get them good and tight. Now let's take the door hinges we pulled off our old door and we'll go ahead and install those on our new door. Reuse the bushings, pin, and clip. Now let's take our door trim, we'll go ahead and install that and then tighten down our door skin. Now let's remove our door striker using our T40 Torx. Now grab your stock door and remove the outer plastic and the door latch. Now let's install the door using the stock hardware we pulled off. Now that we've got this door on, the best part about these is the amount of adjustability that you have. Every machine is going to be different, whether you've rolled it or damaged the plastics, or even from the manufacturer, the tolerances will be a little bit off. But you can adjust these to fit tightly, and I'll show you how to do that. They have an in and out adjustment, an up and down adjustment. You can roll the door in and out, and then the latch is adjustable as well. So first we'll show you how to adjust the in and out and up and down motion, and then we'll move on to the other adjustments. But the idea is that we want the seal on the door to fit tightly against the machine, and that's the goal. Now to do our up and down and in and out adjustment, we want to shut the door all the way and use this right here as our reference point. If it's too low, it'll hang down over that, or too high, or too in or out. That's the reference point you want to use while you adjust your door. So we want to move it to about right there. Now that you have it where you want it, just hold the door against the machine and go ahead and snug up your bolts on the hinges. Now let's adjust the roll of the door. The bottom you can see is pretty close. We'll probably need to shim it just a little bit, but the top there's quite a gap, so we'll have to shim the top a lot more to fill in that gap. We'll start with one shim on the bottom and maybe 3 at the top and see where that goes. Now when you're shimming the door hinges, you only want to do one at a time. You just need to loosen the bolts up a little bit and slide your shim right behind both bolts and then tighten it back up. So now that we have our first set of shims in, we want to double check our reference point. That's key. So go ahead and close the door and get your up and down and in and out adjustment back to where you want it, snug it back up, and then check the seam again to see where it's at if you need to shim it further. Okay, now that we've readjusted our up and down and in and out, we can see that the bottom is nice and tight now, but the top is loose. So we're gonna add another shim to the top to get the door to roll in for a tight fit. Now that we've got that shim in, go ahead and check your reference point and readjust your in and out and up and down. Ours is looking really good, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward and install our striker and our latch. To install the latch, just reuse the stock hardware. Now just leave the bolt snug so that you can adjust it after we install the striker. Next we need to install our striker plate, but just tighten the bolts finger tight. Now you can see that we're hitting the outside of the latch, so we need to adjust it in so that we're hitting in the center here. Now that we've got that centered, we need to check the function of the latch. The kit comes with shims so that we can shim both the latch and the striker. If you shim the striker, that will move the door outwards. If you shim the latch, that will move the door inwards. So we're gonna make those adjustments so that the door seals nicely and you don't have to slam it too hard, or it's tight enough against the machine that it's a good seal. Okay, so you can see here that it doesn't want to latch very easily. So we're gonna adjust the striker out. You don't want to have to slam it to get it to shut, but you don't want it to just latch very easily. So you just kind of got to find that happy medium right there. So where we're sitting is we want to adjust the striker out, probably one shim, and see where we land. Now again, we just want to tighten these finger tight so that we can recheck our alignment between the striker and the latch. Then we can check the function of the latch after that. Well, I think that was the right adjustment that needed to be made. We don't have to slam the door, and it won't latch too easy either. And it looks like we got a nice tight seal along the bottom, so we like that. So the last step is go back over the hardware and retighten everything back up, make sure everything's snug. That's all there is to installing these Tusk Barrier doors. For more products like this, come check us out at RockyMountainATVMC.com. And remember, all orders over $75 ship for free. This is Steve. Catch you next time.